There are many ways how you can tell you are a psychic medium based on experiences, and I know that a lot of it can be obvious for most people, although everybody is psychic, but not everybody is open to this fact. Not everybody is open to it because of programming and the things that they consume that can weaken their pineal glands. But there are multiple ways that they can actually make their pineal glands more healthier, so they can actually understand this level of consciousness. Um, when I was a kid, there was a dramatic event that caused collective consciousness around the world that was very horrifying for people. That actually triggered my spiritual awakening, and to gaining information from my higher self. Have that spiritual connection more stronger, and actually gaining guidance on energy working techniques from my guides also. But I had always had a spiritual connection. Like, I was always gifted before this event happened. It's just that this had opened up a new level. And when I was like 15, then I went through my Kundalini spiritual awakening, and that was like another whole no level of understanding things. Now, at the age of 11, after this event happened, that's actually when my spirit guides and higher self started to like train me on energy workings and letting me know that I am much more than the flesh. I am much more than you know this three-dimensional world that a lot of us are. And maybe one day, if you want me to, I will talk about this event, and maybe most people already know what it is I'm talking about because it affected a lot of people and on a spiritual level, and it had brought new life to help raise consciousness, such as starseeds, indigos, and etc., earth angels, and so on. A way that I found out I was a psychic medium was when I was like 22 years old. I was looking into channeling, and that's what I come to realize that that's what I was doing when I was a kid. I was always channeling spirit guides and whatnot. I never really knew what was going on when I was a kid. I just always heard these voices that was guiding me and always helped me. And growing up, come to realize that there are other people who are gifted as well. So I used to believe that I was the only one in these certain ways. Like, I know there are psychics, but in this certain way, these certain experiences, I thought I was the only one, but there are actually more people out there. And when you learn more about these subjects, you begin to realize that you can actually relate to a lot of it. One of the things to know that I was a psychic medium is, I would have experiences waking up in the middle of the night and I would sense something is right there. And I can see a silhouette or shadow, but that's like after waking up and after being very, very tired in that alpha data frequency, which actually helps heighten your connection to communicating with the spiritual plane at that frequency. Excuse me. When your eyes are very blurry and not that focused, you can see things a lot better in the astral. And even if you are like wide awake, you can still like let your eyes go unfocused, and then you can see things like you can see auras and anybody's, and you can actually practice seeing things through your mind's eye without even actually doing that, letting your eyes go unfocused. And there's matrix and understanding how to do these things by will instead of like having others teach you. Although I had taught other people, but you can actually learn other ways of doing this more easier. Like, it works differently for some people. It could come naturally, or something dramatic can happen to them that it will unlock these gifts. Like, most psychic mediums would go through maybe electric shock and then awakens them. And that's what I had read. And one of my favorite psychic mediums, Kim Russo, in her book The Happy Medium, I had always seeing things. When I was home alone when I was a kid, I would see things like in the reflection of the TV. I seen this tall man, like at least 6'5" maybe, or 7 feet. And I would turn around, and I don't see him like physically there. I could sense him that he is still around, and it's possible that in this house there was a portal in our closet, because in that closet it was always freezing cold. Nowhere else in the room in the house were cold but that closet. And even in the summer, like, it would be cold in there. So there had to have been a portal. Also, I know a lot of people can relate to the experience, hearing their name being called when there's nobody else around, or if there is somebody else around and you ask them, then they call your name, and then they tell you no, they did not call your name, and you have to make sure they're not screwing with you. And this is another example of how to know that you are connected to the spiritual plane. Other ways is also you can tune into these energies, like they could be drawn to you because they would even know that you are a medium before you would know. They would communicate with you. You can hear their voices when you're about to fall asleep at night, or even if you're wide awake, you hear someone talking to you, or you can feel the energy like somebody's communicating with you even though you don't hear a voice. Like being an empath, you could telepathically understand what someone is thinking by the energy that you're tuning into them, because thought is energy. And another way to know that you are a medium, a psychic medium, is when you get a text or a phone call, and before you even look to see who it is, then you already know who it is. And that's something that would be very, very, very common with me, and I know that for most people it can't be. And I know that it could have been that way for you before, but if you're somebody who texts a lot and then it started to grow on you, that's because that psychic gift was actually being exercised, and then you just became so used to it that you started to tune into the frequency of your phone and then the person who communicates with you, and then you know who it is. And a lot of us can unconsciously be exercising our psychic gifts until you start to become conscious of what you're doing, and then you start to realize that you're actually making it a lot stronger. Like meditation, that causes, that can really enhance your pineal gland. And besides, eating healthy foods and such, and and one of the things that how I discovered being one of the things that also connects to being a medium is when you have a physical contact with somebody, you gain information about them, and even a loved one of theirs who passed away, and then they begin to communicate with you. People energy is like it's contagious. Energy, we can be sensitive energies, and we can pick up on these information. And this is called psychometry, when you touch an object. And for me, I don't really have to touch an object. I can think about touching an object or just put my hand to it without actually physically touching it, and then I could gain information on it. And whoever this item had belonged to, I gain information on them. And even if you were to look at an image of a person or a place, and you just be in the moment, and well-grounded and relaxed with a clear mind, that information can come to you. And yeah, it takes practice. Practice makes perfect. We all know that. You can develop these skills, you can build upon them. The more you practice being in and now, you can really enhance these gifts. And the more you practice raising your vibrations, clearing your energy, and the more healthy you take care of yourself when it comes to what you consume, and less TV time or no TV at all, it can really help you see beyond the view, because there's just so much more to the world than what they try to tell you what there is, that creates that limits you. And just like labels, it limits you. So when you look beyond things with an open mind, you start to realize that you are so much more than what you're told. You are more powerful than what you are told. You are limitless. You are the spirit. So we are already connected to the spiritual plane. It's just that we need to understand this. And when you're conscious in this level, you start to see that a lot of things make sense, and especially that certain people that come into your life that can relate to what you can. That you start to see a pattern that someone, a certain person that who can be gifted, this person is meant to be in your life because you are a lesson to them, or vice versa. They are a lesson to you, and you can learn a lot from other people. And I know a lot of people can, they have their experiences, and they would even tell you the same thing. Oh, wow, like I feel like you were meant to be in my life, and I'm supposed to learn something. And then you just say, wow, like I felt the same way. And that is just like a connection, and that is like another form of telepathy. Besides, another form of telepathy is when you have that moment where you ask somebody, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And then they're like, yeah. That is another form of telepathy, and it's that connection that you have because you're tuning into each other's or your spiritual energy. And that is how you can also channel who's on the other side. You filter out other energies, and then you tune into them. It's like you're trying to pick up the best radio signal to get the best channel, this radio station. You have to focus on that person as you filter out any other energies, so you can channel this person. And then you have to be in the moment and relax so you can actually hear them. And it's not just that, but you have to also feel in your gut, your intuition, that you are getting the right answers and you are connected to the person that you want to connect to. So these are ways how to know that you are a psychic medium. And if there's any information that you want to know, you can email me. I'll leave that into the description, and along with my Facebook page. And if you want me to talk about my what triggered that first spiritual awakening when I was a kid, I will make another video about it, and then we can talk about it. I'll see you later. Take care.